Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines today. First, the Federal Reserve in Ripple. Now we got the BIS, the Central Bank of Central Banks, choosing Ripple. We're going to bring that to you. And guess what else we're going to bring to you? The question isn't, will we be able to keep our XRP? I don't believe. The real question is will we be able to continue to get it the way we used to? I'm going to give you what I believe is proof and evidence about why we should all be asking that question. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen. And everything that we're talking about here today, $923 billion market cap for crypto. We're up 0.1% this morning. Good morning, everyone. It is July 14, 2022. Right now, Bitcoin, 19,700 plus. Ethereum, just over $1,000. And XRP at the number 7 spot is 31 cents. We are up 2.7% on the 24-hour, but off a little more than 5% on the 7-day. Fiat link is down this morning. But let me tell you what else is down. It's the value of your dollar. Glimp Pay. This is why I'm buying gold and crypto. Glimp Pay is the gold alternative to banking, ladies and gentlemen. And if you look right here at the value of a $20 bill from 1932 versus a $20 bill in 2022, what this $20 bill can buy in 1932, 482 gallons of gas, 427 gallons of milk, 657 dozen eggs, 2,700 first-class stamps. How about that? What it can buy today, 3.5 gallons of gas, 5.2 gallons of milk, 5 dozen eggs, 25 first-class stamps. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Link for Glimp is underneath the video. Make sure you check it out. There's no minimums there. You can buy as much or a little gold as you want once you fund your account. Right here, Celsius, moments ago, this was late yesterday evening here, filed voluntary petitions for Chapter 11 protection and announced that the company initiated a financial restructuring, which means they've just filed for bankruptcy, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's going on in this space. We have this clip for you right here, which is talking about crypto contagion. But you know what? I'm not going to play the clip, but what they talk about is Celsius Network says it has $167 million in cash on hand, which will provide ample liquidity to support certain operations during the restructuring process. But remember, it had more than $8 billion in loans to clients and $12 billion in assets under management. So what is to come of all of that is still to be determined. Now, they also talk about Three Arrows Capital and about how that can be crypto contagion, and these effects can become cascading, as we've talked about with other countries having problems with their banks and liquidity issues, and all of that can be a cascading effect as well. All of this is something to pay attention to, but let me tell you something. Shout out to iTrust Capital. They put out this article, and I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but let me tell you something. You should read the whole thing. I'm going to give you just a piece of it. Shout out to Todd and Blake there. The most boring company in crypto. This is why I love iTrust. They have their thumb on the pulse of their customer. They understand the things that you're feeling because of what we're watching happen in the space. And you know what? Recently, attention has been drawn to how certain companies in crypto space store and secure the assets of their clients. At iTrust Capital, the assets that belong to our clients are their own, not ours. We're here to provide a service letting you self-trade cryptocurrencies in a self-directed IRA. We want each and every one of our clients to be confident that they've made a sound decision by choosing us. While we may not always add the shiniest new assets or flavor of the week, our clients can rest assured that we have done our due diligence on both security and accountability. We use multiple third-party vendors for security and custodial services, all of which have been subject to scrupulous analysis. When we introduce an asset or a feature to our platform, you can rest assured that we have given its security and viability proper attention. This to me, I tell you, this is why I use crypto IRAs with iTrust Capital, because they are the best. I've said it. They got the best offering and they have the best sensibility about how they help protect you as you grow your portfolio. Link for that underneath the video as well. Very quickly here, Monica Long talks about the whole C5 versus DeFi, which is centralized finance versus decentralized finance. It's just basically, she says here, you know what? We're doing a disservice to try to pit the two against one another when the reality is that it's going to take a while for decentralized finance to really take off. And these things can work to serve each other if we open our minds and work together. That's a paraphrasing, but that's really where we're at here. Now, I want to bring you to this. I want to lay out to you why I believe the question isn't really whether we'll be able to keep our XRP. I firmly myself, and listen, we entertain those scenarios because they're plausible to a degree. Are they 5% plausible, 3% plausible, or 90% plausible? That's for everyone to make their own mind up. But in this particular instance, I want to play you people from Ripple like Dilip Rao, Michelle Bond, saying the things that they say at their tenure there at Ripple, and revealing what I believe in today's climate and what we understand today really begs a very serious question. It isn't whether we'll be able to keep our XRP. I think it's will we be able to continue to get XRP the way we have. Now, as I play through these clips for you, I want you to remember the current moment we're in. And it was not this way in 2018, but it's this way today. U.S. retail has already been blocked, basically from getting XRP the way we used to. Now, you can still get it on Uphold. Shout out to them. Trade into it on BitTrue if you have an account there, and maybe a few other places. But that's it. So to an extent of what I'm discussing has already started to happen to U.S. retailers. So let's keep that in mind. What I want to do is start right here first with Dilip Rao, and he's talking about real use case. And I want you to listen to what he says. Take a listen right here. We're going to start right at this clip. Let me just dial this in very quickly here. And here we go right here.
Just I realized something. You call it digital assets.
Yeah.
You don't say cryptocurrency or crypto assets or anything. Is there a reason for that? I'm just asking. I mean, you don't need to.
No, very deliberately.
Maybe a company policy.
No, very deliberately, yeah. So we have positioned XRP really as a digital asset for use by financial institutions.
Very quickly, I just want to highlight, he's very deliberately not calling it a crypto asset. And I believe because in 2018, they knew that they were going to have a legal definition of what this digital asset actually is. Keep that in mind.
Really on a wholesale basis. So right now, the XRP ledger is a public ledger.
So it's for institutional wholesale basis. Bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so we have positioned XRP really as a digital asset for use by financial institutions, really on a wholesale basis. So right now, the XRP ledger is a public ledger. It is really a ledger of liabilities. So what I mean by that is you can take money from somebody and issue a balance on the Ripple ledger. You can take gold, or, you deposit gold with somebody and you can issue a balance in gold on the Ripple ledger. So any kind of a liability that you have can be issued on the Ripple ledger. The validation of transactions is through consensus. So the use of XRP is probably threefold. I guess I told you about two of them already, as a substitute for Nostros, as a bridge currency, and initially it was also a mechanism to stop denial of service attacks on the network. So really, it was never designed for buying coffee. So our positioning for XRP is really as a wholesale digital asset. And we're licensed to sell that out of a fund that we have in New York as exactly that, for that purpose.
So there you have that part. Not designed for coffee. It's for wholesale financial institutional use. That's the goal. Remember, We're in the middle of a court case to define what this is. There are no criminal charges in this case. It is about what this asset is. That's what the SEC versus Ripple case is about. And yes, I believe it was absolutely used as a weapon in the beginning of this as well. But let's understand this as we move to the next spot that I want to highlight very quickly here at this time marker. And then I'm going to take you to something that's very profound in just 1 second here. Take a listen to this. This is very important here.
Now you go out and create a network, a community around it. So what Ripple has done is taken about 55 billion of the XRP that we have and put it into escrow. And the idea is, again, to provide stability of supply. So every month we have 1 billion Ripple, XRP available for us to do whatever we want with. If you don't use it, it goes to the back of the queue. It's all under a smart contract. And the idea is to say, we will dribble this out so that there is not an immediate, big overhang of XRP on the marketplace. But ultimately, all of that XRP will be owned by institutions that want to use it.
Ultimately, it will be owned by the institutions that will use it.
And whether they use it for Nostro replacement or they use it as a bridge currency.
For Nostro replacement or a bridge currency.
Or potentially for other use cases. So we are certainly beginning to now look at what are the other use cases you can have for this, given the high-performing network that we have. So it will take time, but as that is used to sort of create deeper markets, I think the utility of XRP will in fact grow, and that's kind of where we are headed with it.
Now, let me take you very quickly to the next clip that you need to hear, which is right here. This is going to back it up, and you're going to love this one. You're going to get to hear what Dilip Rao says right here about how he feels about holding on to his XRP. Take a listen here.
That's when the two will converge. So from a use case point of view, we think we still have a solid platform, a solid base as to what is the problem being solved. Is it a big problem? And who is ultimately going to use XRP? And in our case, we think it's going to be financial institutions, or it's going to be market makers who want to come in and play in that business. And it's a huge, as I mentioned, a $27 trillion base that is there today. So if you go by that, I'm not selling my XRP.
If you go by that, I'm not selling my XRP. Guess what, Dilip? I'm not either, buddy. And here's the other part that we all have heard, but I need to play it. It's about how they're turning away from retail, pivoting away and turning away from retail. Listen to this. It's the strategy. It's okay. Look, I love Ripple. I love owning Ripple shares. I love owning XRP as well. But we need to understand what the ultimate goal is and where we align as investors versus where we align with them and their objective as a company and the ultimate use of their entire suite of products and the complement of something like XRP. Take a listen.
To Dilip, this question comes from the audience. Many people are using cryptos just to buy and sell and make quick gains out of it. Does it hurt the growth of cryptocurrencies, that usage for a quick buck?
He's talking about retail.
So I mean, it's kind of chicken and egg. You have to create a marketplace. And right now, we have about 150, 200 exchanges around the world that trade in XRP. A lot of it, as you say, is very shallow trading by individuals. And that is not the use case that we are pursuing. What we are pursuing is the use of XRP as a financial asset by sophisticated institutions as a bridging mechanism. So does this hurt or harm? Well, it creates a lot of noise. And we certainly don't want that much noise, but we're waiting. And for example, this last quarter, the bulk of XRP sales were to institutional investors. And as this transitions away from retail to institutions who start to use it for wholesale, financial usage, that's when the turning point will come.
Got it.
That's when the turning point will come. That's 2018. That's 4 years ago. What do you think those numbers look like now? Well, let me tell you. Let's take one quick listen to this clip right here, which is very important too. This is Michelle Bond at her time there, and she's going to tell us exactly what the mission is of Ripple as well.
One of the things that we do is We really are partnering with financial institutions, and we're operating within the existing regulatory framework. That's actually always been the bedrock of Ripple's strategy. That's something very important to us. The other thing that I think sets us apart is that we're really changing the infrastructure for cross-border payments. And we're not consumer facing in any way. So I think that also sets us.
And Monica Long, right? That's the key to retail right there, letting everybody know what the deal is. We're not consumer facing in any way. Now, listen, there's lots of other use cases popping up for XRP, and I'm excited about it too. But let's keep in mind what the ultimate goal is from Ripple, the company, and that we're in the middle of a lawsuit with the SEC to define exactly what the asset is and what it has been in years past in those sales. While we understand that, we see that Michael Esbar, former Ripple advisor, has now been fully confirmed as the VP chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve, where he will play a critical role in writing legislation and regulation for stable coins and crypto from his position. Now remember, Michael Esbar very quickly, if you haven't seen the video I released late yesterday, please go watch that, was an architect to the Dodd-Frank Act, which gave birth to FSOC. FSOC is the group that has the ability to deem non-bank institutions as systemically important. Michael Barr knows exactly how important Ripple's role can be, and so does the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve, if I have it right, well, we know also that the Federal Reserve is using Ripple to find out which blockchains and cryptocurrencies are going to be best suited for payments. We'll talk about that in a second. But the reason all of this is coming to light, and I want to run through this and refresh everybody about what Ripple's mission has been and that they're not consumer facing, is this. We are in the middle of a case. And as John Deaton says here, I've seen so many people, including CEOs, bring up the Howey case, and I question how many of them have actually read the decision. And I do too. Now, I have read through it a while back, but I think the bigger test is the REVES test. And I'm going to give you evidence of that in a deeper way today. Now, this is the stage and panel where you cannot see to the right is Matthew Solomon, Brad Garlinghouse's lawyer, 1 month ago. Now, I had played a clip for you on Twitter and on some of my videos before. Stay with me here. What I'm about to play for you now is an extension of that clip where the host of this, a lawyer himself, I'm sure, is sitting here and talking about how important it is that we all get brushed up on the REVES test now, because we all are very well versed on the Howey test. Take a listen to this.
There'll be significant development, and it'll be a path that others might follow. We're going to have to see. But what I also was significant that of course that the REVES test has been talked about in the crypto space, but I don't think it had been used in an SEC case until BlockFi.
DeFi money market.
That's an SEC lawyer, which is a smaller company, DeFi Money Market. What he's giving you there is the SEC's modus operandi. They go after smaller companies like Library and DeFi Money Market to try to set these precedents through legal decision and win, because they don't have the money to combat the SEC in the proper way legally, right? Not that they've done a thing wrong, but they use things like the Howey test or the REVES test to set the precedent on this space. The conversation on this panel at this time was really about BlockFi, but keep listening here.
Which was the smaller DeFi money market, was the smaller one, but shortly before, also in the last year.
So, we all learned Howey. Now we got to go learn REVES. So I guess that's part of the homework now. Thank you, SEC.
While you're on the topic, one of the key components of that analysis is whether there's an alternative regulatory scheme that provides protection to the participants or investors. And that's a significant component in this space, especially.
Listen to what he's saying there. So is whether there's already a regime or a set of rules that protect the thing that's in question, right? maybe XRP. Is it protected? Listen to what he says there again. Very important.
So I guess that's part of the homework now. Thank you, SEC.
While you're on the topic, one of the key components of that analysis is whether there's an alternative regulatory scheme that provides protection to the participants or investors. And
is he talking about being an accredited investor? Is that what he's talking about? That there's already a set of rules in place that they could just classify? The REVES test is about when something is a note. And in order to determine whether something is a note that is a security or not, you must first start with the presumption that it is a security first. There is no greater presumption that something is a security than the SEC suing Ripple over XRP being a security. That is the ultimate presumption. Keep listening.
That's a significant component in this space, especially where things are at in terms of, activities to protect investors in this space.
It's all about protecting investors in this space to take it out of the retail's hands, as the Ripple employees and executives have said to you just moments ago that I played for you. It is not consumer facing in any way. But can we have it be classified as such that it falls under a regime and a set of rules that already exist, like accredited investor rules? And let us not forget that Gary Gensler wants to change the accreditation requirements to a $10 million limit instead of a $1 million limit. Remember that?
By other regulators. So I just, not that I know where that's heading or anything, I just flag that as one of the key elements.
Yeah, that is one of the key elements, and I believe it is the key element in the moment we're in with the SEC versus Ripple case over what XRP is and how it comes out of this. No matter how much Ripple appears to be winning this case, make no mistake about it, and I'll make the video if I'm wrong. I believe that this case is absolutely wrestling over how to come out of the REVES test in a designation for XRP. Take a listen to this clip. That's Matthew Solomon right there, Brad Garlinghouse's attorney 1 month ago on that same panel, and listen to what he does. He throws it back to the SEC lawyer who was just talking and says, maybe you can tell us more about the REVES test.
I think I looked yesterday what's happened with all that. There may have been some extensions. I don't think we have clarity on that. Finding something, it's not a finding that's legally binding. This is the way that these settlements are styled. But the commission found that this lending product.
And by the way, while that's trying to get right, because I have 7,000 tabs open, I want to make clear to you, they're discussing the BlockFi case and how the REVES test applies to that. And then you heard the mention of the smaller case that had already been decided with the DeFi market case. That was really intentional, I believe, to begin to set precedent on some of these crypto assets that don't fall underneath the Howey test, like I believe Ripple and XRP does not, and actually the REVES test of when something is a note, because it actually does work just like money. One second, let me cue it up here.
Was a equity security, an investment contract, but also that it constituted a note under the REVES test, and they set that out, the commission set that out in the settlement order. This is a way, I guess, of giving some kind of guidance through this settled order of how expansive the commission believes the
And of course, it's jamming up here. Let me work with it here.
Test is in relation to lending products, not just equity security, but also, in their view, a debt security. Others going to follow suit because clearly there must be other inquiries going on of similar products since, again, block security. A couple other quick points from here. I mean, again, this is a settled enforcement action. This is not rulemaking. And Commissioner Peirce penned a dissent, and she was very skeptical that the registration path the SEC laid out for BlockFi was tenable. BlockFi must think it is to pay $100 million and to engage in this. So again, we'll stand by and see what happens. But again, on yield-generating crypto products, and this is not the only product out there like this, the SEC clearly has shown some appetite under certain circumstances potentially to give a path for registration. And the question is, at what cost? Is this something that's practical for all companies that have these kinds of lending products? Are others going to follow suit? because clearly there must be other inquiries going on of similar products, since again, BlockFi is not the only one out there like this. So
now remember, Ripple has a lending product too. Let's keep going.
So that's my perspective on it. I don't know if others have views, because I do think this is an effort. I don't know, Steve, if you can talk any more about it, probably not, but to give some information to the marketplace. And those are my personal views about what the commission's trying to do, but if you can elaborate on that for us, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what he's doing to throw the ball in Steve's lap from the SEC, because he understands, I believe, with that grin right there, that this is where the argument is over XRP and the SEC. I really do believe that. And this is what the guy from the SEC says.
I can't elaborate in any way that you would enjoy, I don't think.
And there you have it. So look, at the end of the day, we look at this. We know that the Federal Reserve has already chosen Ripple to help in their survey to find the best blockchain in cryptocurrencies. And guess what? I think they're going to find for cross-border payments that XRP works well. Probably XLM too. My digital perspectives, not financial advice, but take a look at this. The Ripple says we are excited to be shortlisted in the BIS and Bank of Indonesia G20 challenge for our CBD solution. How about that? CBDC solution. 90% of central banks are exploring central bank digital currencies, and we know their potential to advance financial inclusion and the hurdles to adopt them. Well, and so many said we're not allowed to talk about it. But yet here it is happening right before our eyes. Don't believe it, it's still true. And it just may be that we see the REVES test play out to determine exactly this. Not whether we can hold it, but whether we can still get it. And maybe it's just that you have to be accredited getting it at some point after this case is over. That is the question we should all be asking. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. I'll catch all of you on the next one.